What if I told you that after 15 years of hunting ghosts, I discovered something was hunting me back? My name might not matter anymore, but my story will haunt you forever. I spent my entire career searching for proof that spirits exist, but what I found in an abandoned hospital was so terrifying that I walked away from ghost hunting completely. This is the evidence that broke me, and after you hear it, you'll understand why some doors should never be opened. For over a decade, I trusted my equipment to reveal the supernatural. EMF detectors, thermal cameras, digital recorders. They were my lifeline to the other side. Then came St. Jude's Hospital for the Incurable, a massive stone building constructed in the 1800s that served as both an asylum and tuberculosis sanatorium. The stories surrounding this place were absolutely insane, but I thought I'd heard everything. The moment I stepped out of my car, something felt fundamentally wrong. The air itself seemed heavy, oppressive, like the building was watching me. For the first few hours, my investigation yielded nothing unusual. Then everything happened at once. A human-sized cold spot materialized on my thermal camera, hovered for exactly 30 seconds, then vanished completely. My EMF detector started screaming next to electrical wires that hadn't carried power in decades. I even captured what appeared to be a shadow figure moving through the main corridor. But this didn't feel like a typical haunting. Every piece of evidence felt deliberate, orchestrated, like something was putting on a performance specifically for me. I knew the real activity would be in the basement, a section of the hospital that had been sealed for 30 years. That's where I made the discovery that would end my career forever. The basement was unnaturally cold, probably 20 degrees colder than the rest of the building. I positioned my best audio recorder in the old surgical room and began my standard questioning routine. After 20 minutes of silence, I asked the one question that always provokes a response. Do you want us to leave? Instantly, a woman's voice came through my headphones, crystal clear and unmistakable. She said one word, "Hello." But it wasn't just what she said that stopped my heart. It was how she said it. The voice carried this underlying tone of amusement, like she was laughing at some private joke. Then I realized something impossible. I had recorded this exact same voice, with identical inflection and tone, 2 years earlier in a lighthouse 500 miles away. A year before that, I'd captured the same voice in a random house investigation. Ghosts aren't supposed to travel like this. They're tied to locations, people, or objects. But this thing was following me. Before I could process what this meant, every single piece of my equipment died simultaneously. Not gradual battery drain, instant, complete failure. I was plunged into absolute darkness in a basement 30 feet underground. I've investigated hundreds of locations, but I had never experienced fear like this. It wasn't fear of encountering a ghost. It was the terror of realizing I was being stalked by something intelligent and predatory. I couldn't move. Paralysis isn't uncommon during paranormal encounters, but this felt different. I was completely helpless while something circled me in the darkness. When I finally regained control, I grabbed my gear and ran. I drove for miles before stopping, convinced that I was still being watched. For 2 days, I couldn't bring myself to review the evidence. When I finally checked my files, almost everything was corrupted beyond recovery, except for one file, the audio recording from that basement. Somehow, it survived perfectly intact. This recording changed everything I believed about the paranormal. You can hear me ask the question, followed immediately by that chilling response. But listen carefully to what happens in the background. There are footsteps circling the room, even though I was completely alone. The voice doesn't sound like it's coming from a fixed location. It moves, like something walking around me as it speaks. That voice is why I quit ghost hunting forever. For 15 years, while I thought I was investigating the supernatural, something was investigating me. The pattern became undeniable once I connected the evidence. This wasn't a confused spirit or residual energy. This was something ancient and intelligent that could travel anywhere it wanted. St. Jude's Hospital wasn't haunted in any traditional sense. It was just another feeding ground for something that feeds on fear and attention. That cheerful hello wasn't a greeting. It was this entity letting me know it had been watching me for years, probably since my very first investigation. Some of you might think I'm connecting dots that don't exist, but I was there in that basement. I heard that voice. I felt that presence. My last case taught me that some mysteries are too dangerous to solve, and some doors should remain closed forever. What would you have done in that basement? Would you have tried to communicate further, or would you have run like I did? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to hear more stories about the things that lurk in the darkness, subscribe to this channel.